Competition. You have 18 to 20 minutes to present. I will be keeping the time and showing you time cards of how much time you have left over. There is 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 2 minutes, 1 minute, 30 seconds, and for the last 10 seconds, I will count them down on my fingers. I will show you to stop when you're at the 20 minutes, and then afterwards you will have an 8-minute question period with the judges. Okay. You can start whenever you feel ready.
Before we start, I want to mention we have a fourth member, Jose, here. He will not be presenting with us due to personal reasons today. And also, I have a really bad knee, so I'm going to be kind of fidgety with my afterwards. I just have to not be sorry. Right. 10,000 students are at UBCO campus. This is an untapped market for steel box storage, and 3,000 of these students have started in the fall, and over the next 4 or so years, they will be moving on to buying condos and houses for the future. It is really important for steel box storage to create an early customer relationship with these students so that in the future when they move on to their next endeavors, they come back to you guys for their moving and storage needs. We generally care for people is one is steel box storage's values. We believe this value will help meeting the students and helping solve the pains that the students have and creating that customer relationship that will bring them back to you in the future. We are Ford Consulting. I am Brian, this is Jason, and this is David, and we are excited to share with you today the ideas on how you guys will be able to capture this new potential market. Let me introduce you to Alex here. Alex is 18 years old. It's his first time away from home. He's an outdoor enthusiast who loves golfing and skiing. He's currently studying in the arts faculty. He's living on campus in a smaller room than he is normally used to. He's living on a budget and he has no personal transportation. His pains are he has no room to store his golf and ski equipment. It's taking up room in his small res building and he needs a better solution. He's living on a budget, so he can't afford the current solutions out there, and with the no personal transportation, he can't get to the other services that are available in the market.
Okay, thank you, Brian. So we all know that there's a problem and there's demand for Alex, but there is our primary issue come up. Is the student market worth for your company to pursue or not? In other words, is Alex's case is an individual situation, or is like the concern for which affect all other university students? In order to find this out, we would recommend to start with student survey about the market demand, which we would easily to know the student preference. And secondly, after we knowing what they like, and we want to have modular container design, which will increase the affordability for the student like Alex, because most of them, they don't need entire container. They just need a piece of them. Thirdly, we want to move on to container around the campus. We want to place a container on the campus, around the campus, which we believe is academic here and somewhere on the campus, which will increase accessibility to all of students around the campus who has no individual transportation system. And lastly, is digital lock on the container. Equipment like golf and skiing, they usually cost a lot. We want to make them secure and then to prevent any loss or accident. So as a summary, let's go back to the question. Is student market worth pursuing? Yeah, obviously for short term, you won't generate a lot of profit from this project, but in the long term, it will generate a long-term customer, it will generate a lot of long-term customer relationship and generate a lot of customer loyalty from this student? So the answer is yes, it is.
Thank you, Jason.
Yes.
So, moving into secondary issues that we've identified within your company, the first that we identified is that there's an unsuitable service that you provide for these students. These students, they don't want a full-size box. They only need, for example, Alex only needs something to place his skis or something to place his golf equipment during the winter, which, as you're currently targeting single-family homes, they aren't as suitable towards students. Going into a secondary issue, the second one, we find that there's a search engine optimization issue that we need to address. As Alex is searching for storage options online in Google, when he types in Kelowna storage, your big steel box is not at the top of the list. It is actually at the second bottom of the first page, which is very difficult for Alex to find. And finally, our final secondary issue we find is that there are many substitutes within Kelowna that Alex can go to for finding his solutions to his problems. First, for transportation, is the U-Haul for transportation service, and for a storage warehouse, the Space Center being close to the university can be a substitute for Alex to choose from. Going into your company, we find that you have a very powerful strength your first powerful strength you provide for everyone is that you have both transportation and storage services available for use within the company. U-Haul only does transportation service, and Space Center only does storage services. We find this, and the second strength we find within your company is that there is an integrated enterprise resource planning system. We find this system is very powerful and can be effectively utilized to get into this student market and get into Alex. Weaknesses we find within your company is, like I said before, there's a limited product line, as this Alex may not need a full storage box, but rather small storage. And because there is only larger storage available, we find that it may be less affordable to Alex because the options that are currently provided are too expensive for his small budget. Moving outside of your company into the industry, you find that you have a very strong relationship with UBCO, working with MSA, JDCW, Capstone. This allows you to get into the potential market of students much easier than other competitors or alternatives. This is a very great opportunity to get into this is a great opportunity for your company to get into the minds of Alex so that he thinks of big steel box first when it comes to transportation and storage needs. Some threats we have within the industry, like I've said before, there are many substitutes available for Alex to choose from. And as well, we have to be very sensitive to the price that we provide to Alex as he's living on a budget. We want to provide a usable storage that he does not have to worry too much about pricing on. So two major key takeaways we want to take from this is that first, there's a very strong opportunity to establish a long-term student relationship with students like Alex. But to achieve this, we need to find that your company currently focusing more on single families, has different needs than that of students within the campus. Going into the decisions that we provided for you moving forward, our first alternative that we suggest is to provide a pickup and delivery service to Alex on campus. The second one is to provide a modular-based storage to Alex at the Big Steel Box warehouse. And finally, a modular-based storage to students around the campus. Going to our first alternative of a pickup and delivery system, we find this to be very accessible to students like Alex. We delivering the storage to him, letting him fill it up, and bringing it back to the storage place. However, we find that a major concern of this is that it is very expensive. Alex needs to pay for a delivery and pickup price, and for your company, it's also expensive to hire new employees to train them to provide this, as well as new technologies to look into, such as RFIDs. And because of this, we reject our first alternative. Going to our second alternative of a modular-based storage in the Big Steel Box warehouse, we find that this is a very flexible and option for students like Alex, because now we can choose, Alex can choose smaller or larger containers based on what he needs. However, a concern of this is that there are many competitors and alternatives that Alex can choose from. As the Big Steel Box is further away from campus, there are closer alternatives that Alex can choose on his way downtown. So we reject our second alternative. And our third alternative, which we will recommend to your company today, is to provide a modular-based storage to students around the campus. What this provides is an accessible location where Alex can access his golfing and skiing gear whenever he needs at an affordable price, because there is only a setup fee and a small maintenance fee ongoing. And it will be very secure because we will be providing a digital lock system to make sure that only Alex and people Alex wants to can get into these storage places. And it helps develop the reputation of the Big Steel Box with the students on campus. They'll see Big Steel Box, and they'll, over the 4 years, they'll think more and more about Big Steel Box and what they can do for students like Alex. However, a concern we have with this alternative is that it is an untested market. Your company has not done anything like this before, and we have to take this very carefully going forwards to ensure that it fits what students like Alex need.
Okay, thank you, David. As David mentioned, we choose the third alternative. So how to achieve it? We have a couple key points in our recommendation plan. The first one is marketing. Because this market is untested, we want to treat it really carefully. So we want to start with the student survey to know how many students are demanding it and what kind of modular container they want. So by achieving 15% of feasible rate, we will believe this plan will be feasible. Otherwise, we'll think this one won't work. A second thing we want to implement is the geo-fence. Because we want to use your advertising budget more efficiently, so we want to implement this technology to focus on more specific area, such as campus or around campus, so to use the budget more efficiently. And move on, secondly, we want to do the container design. After we analyze the feedback from students, we know what space they need and what kind of space they need. That's for our interior design. For the exterior one is the branding, and we want to collaborate with our faculty member to try to design a better appearance which will fit for university culture. And also, as David mentioned before, with the digital lock will be provided as our security feature. And thirdly, we want to start with the negotiation. We want to start with negotiation with the Mission Group and UBC of Narcan. We know it's kind of hard, but that's why we put up the terms of negotiation sample. The first recommendation we have is lease and revenue share. We want to start with $1,000 per container per year, and also plus up to 30% revenue share, which we believe is easier for us to negotiate with these two faculty. And secondly, is number of containers we want to put initially. We want to put one each around the campus and around the Academy Hill before May 2020. Yep, and the last thing is contract length. We choose 6 plus 12 because we want to start at November to the next year May, and after that we want to do whole year school year cycle.
Thank you, Jason. So going back to the modular design that we've considered, this is our concept design that we've considered for moving forward with students like Alex. Firstly, with figure 1, we want to split it across so then that means we can get external access from multiple access points around the box. Secondly, we also want to split it down the middle, similar to the dotted line in figure 2. This way we can provide access from both sides of the box for students who may not need the entire 8 feet across and only need space upright for skis or for their golf equipment. Based on the design, we've decided to split it into 6 segments. However, based on the student surveys that we provide, we may alter these designs to provide either lockers or larger spaces if the students are demanding those instead. Going into the customer pricing model, we suggest that we charge Alex $35 a month for renting the standard 3x4 feet module, and for the year he would only have to cost $420. However, we also have planned that if Alex pays for the entire full year, we also offer a discount as a full year option. Next, based on our implementation, we plan on providing 10 boxes throughout the campus and University Academy Way. This provides 120 approximate blockers that students can access, which is about 1.2% of the current student base of 10,000 students. And from total revenue that we predict from all 120 modules would be about $50,000.
Continuing on with the recommendation plan, we've outlined a few key performance indicators that we are confident that this plan will achieve. First one is the student retention rate. So our first one is 35 students long term. We expect that over the course of the students graduating, we can easily achieve 35 students coming back and using the moving and storage needs in the future. And in the short term, 100 students coming back year after year and reusing the storage lockers while they live on campus. Our main focus is on the 35 students long term though, as this is the higher revenue proposition and the long-term customer relationship. Next, we're moving into brand awareness. We're planning on doing surveys at the beginning of the school years to see if we're increasing brand awareness. We're thinking 30% impression rate from seeing the logo on campus of the storage boxes, as well as our geo fencing marketing will achieve this. We'll also analyze the active periods of the geofences to make sure that we're getting the proper response from the geofence marketing. And then we're going to look at vacancies of containers. We're hoping, or we think we can achieve 5% vacancies during peak season, which is the school year from the fall season and the spring.
Thank you, Brian. So, start with our 6 months contract plan. What are we going to do with the 6 months? I will use Alex as an example. For the first 2 months, we'll fill out the survey. Once we get the survey result from Alex or the student right now, we will start the container design. The design takes 2 months. While we are designing it, we will start negotiation with the UBCO and the Mission Hill. The reason why we think Mission Hill will be shorter length because they have the same, their value is highly matched with our with your company's value. So they both like we generally treat the people. And the next step we will go with the radar fence because it costs $500 per month, and we only want to use it before the peak season come in. And lastly, we want two pilot projects ready, which is Alex is able to use the container before he go back to enjoy his summer term. And secondly, we move to the 12 month length, which is 2020, May 2020 to May 2021. The first 7 months, we want to start implement another 8 more boxes, which we believe 1 more on the campus and 7 more around the U building, which is starting from U1 to U8. And secondly, we want to do another student survey in order to track our KPI system. And thirdly, as I mentioned before, we want to have better looking of our container. So we want to collaborate with our faculty of our students in order to make the container better suit for our university culture. And lastly, we want to do the radar field test again, which will increase our advertisement effects.
Moving into the cost of the implementation, we've outlined the initial cost to be $80,000. This is made up of lease contract, the contract redesign, marketing, and consulting fee. Moving forward, we're expecting the cost to drop by half for the following years, with only marketing and the lease contract being a cost. So we've outlined a sensitivity analysis here. We have a low revenue, medium revenue, and high revenue. These are based on different container layouts according to the student preferences. They're both, or all three will break even in 2021 with high revenue doing early 2021, medium halfway through, and low revenue close to 2022. So coming back to the question, is the student market worth pursuing? If we do the student survey about market demand, we will find out Alex's preferences and what he needs. Then we'll be able to go into designing the storage containers and getting into smaller or bigger, whatever the students feel like they can afford. Putting the containers around campus will give the students and Alex accessibility, since many students on campus don't have personal transportation. And the digital locks on the container will provide the security that the students would be worried about by locking their stuff outside on the campus. All these effects will generate the long-term customer loyalty that we are expecting this plan to generate. And from here, we'll be able to scale this plan to other... I'd like to open the floor to questions.
One of the things you suggested in the third alternative is that we would put storage lockers, or basically big steel box storage units at UBCO. What's the chances that UBC is going to really want to allow us to do that? I got around, I don't see a lot of other stuff on here.
Right, so that is one of the risks that we've identified when going through with this third alternative. However, by using the student surveys and using Mission Group as leverage, we can go to UBCO and say, these are what students want, and we can provide a solution to what Alex needs to have his storage problem solved. Another issue we find with this is that they don't look that great, like they're big steel boxes. That's why we put into our implementation plan the redesigned system that we put into our second year, so that students like Alex can redesign the big steel boxes so it fits better with what the university wants.
I guess my question's pretty similar to that, because you said 120 units, which would be 10 boxes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess my question would be 10 boxes, that's quite a lot of space. It's, over like 100 feet wide of kind of, space that you need to put all these boxes down. Where do you think this school would allow those to go, or how do you kind of, how do you say we want 100 feet of width in your parking lot to take up, and that's a bunch of spots with students not having parking anymore and stuff like that, or places on the school that is not not available anymore. So how do you kind of mitigate that, or make sure that that's not a worry for the school, I guess?
Okay, so our plan is to have the boxes by like each one of the res buildings are kind of spaced out, so we're going to not just have 100 100 feet in a row, here, as well as one of our options is Academy Hill with Mission Group is actually a little bit outside campus, and theirs are separated like this, and we're thinking about placing them on the other side of the road, on the side of the building where you wouldn't really see it. It would be blocked by the forest on the one side, which would also help with security reasons, as not many people would be walking by them all the time.
Yeah, fair enough.
One point I want to add up is that we are planning to place 2 on the campus only and 8 on the academy hill, which is U1 and U8. So it won't take much space on the campus.
Yeah.
This is a two-part question, but the first part is, so I'm just a little unclear, what exactly is the Mission Group's role in your recommendation?
Their role is they're the ones, they make the UA buildings on Academy Hill.
So that's their land that you will be placing those on?
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, and so there'll be a total of 10, 2 at UBCO and 8 at Mission Group, with projected revenues of...
2 at UBCO and 8 with the Mission Group. Sorry about
So
that.
10 in total.
10 in total, yeah, sorry.
And they're projected to generate revenue of around 50,000. So if you were to share 30% with these companies, I mean, especially from a UBCO standpoint, that's, equates to 5 students' tuitions for the year.
which they may not see as very valuable. Can you think of any other value-added activities that UBCO and the Mission Group are getting this outside of the additional revenue sharing?
Yes, I can answer that question. Thank you so much for your question. The side value for the, let's talk about Mission Group first. Putting empty, putting the container which is useful for their storage is better than empty land, which is you provide extra function, but you don't actually add your rental, right? So, and also Mission Group earning money from that, which is both benefit, the double win. And for the UBC student, the UBC faculty, UBC are considered for their student, and they want the student to have better study place, which is you cannot focus study while your room are fully with that topic, or like IOPs are not used often. So which we believe through the student survey, it will enhance the the UBC will more willing to know like what the student actually concerned is and try to solve it with the still mark.
Okay.
Thank you.
Do you know anyone who has brought so much stuff with them to campus that they need a storage locker to access on campus on a regular basis?
Okay, I guess I will answer that question. The last semester, I helped one of my friends to move out. I know UBCO every April, they force the most of the residents out to become a hotel. So my car is the SUV. I spent three times to help him to ship the equipment from the UBCO resident to the resident on Academy Hill, which is a lot. You cannot imagine how can they fit that much stuff in a small room. It's like way over my capacity. Yeah,
Okay, so people need to move every 4 months, but that doesn't answer the question is why would they then need that storage on campus rather than storing it at one of our facilities and saving us the cost of renting it, or renting that space from UBC over property that's owned by the Mission Group. I just don't really see the necessity of having space that's available for students to get into whenever they want, because that's higher costs for us, right?
Right, so great question. So going back to a profile with Alex, one of the benefits that will be provided with having big steel boxes outside of the new buildings and on campus is that after a trip of going skiing, his skis are very dirty, they're full of snow, and they're dripping water everywhere. So if you were to bring that into the apartments where he's living, that water would be dripping and providing damage into the building. Whereas if we were to put it into the big steel boxes, all the water just stays outside, and we can provide the maintenance fee just to have someone come by after their contract ends to clean it out, make sure that stuff like skis don't dirty the apartment.
Okay. Thank you. How are we with time?
1 minute.
Good.
Thank you.
We can
Yeah, it's a day. As soon as it starts
I'm not sure where everything is, but I will find them. Sure. So you'll have them Monday or Tuesday.
I don't want to see this one. I don't want to see
Well, you're on the right track, getting there.
I have a better one.
I'm just gonna get one and one only. Some kind of love.
Well, you know what I think would be cool? It's black on it. An army of black squares. And then you got the black tattoo.
Huh.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. One of my friends, I really love her.
Hello, Megan. Hi, Megan. You.
Hello.
Rose, the stem says more.
Welcome to the JDC MSA case competition. You will have 18 to 20 minutes to present. I will be keeping the time and showing you how much time you have left on the cards. You have 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 2 minutes, 1 minute, and 30 seconds, and then the last 10 seconds I will be counting down